Hey guys, welcome to UEFA Champions League final preview powered by SSE. I'm Viraj and I'm joined by Ritesh from Chelsea India Supporters Club and Tanmay from the Manchester City Mumbai Supporters Club to discuss the biggest night in European club football. SSE, for all those of you who don't know, stands for Sports Stock Exchange. It is a platform that aims to revolutionize fantasy sports with the unique concept that will resonate with all of you sports fans. Launched during the IPL this year, it's the next big event on their platform is coming soon, so watch their space for more. Today we'll be previewing the UCL final to be played between the two English clubs, and that may not have the greatest history, but they certainly have a lot of money. And so without further ado, let's start with this discussion between Ritesh, Tanmay and me and let's start by getting to know both of them a little more. So Tanmay, let's start with you. Why did you start supporting Manchester City and why did you join the Manchester City Mumbai Supporters Club?
Sure. Hi guys, hi everyone. Well, my first football impression, I guess it's 2008 Euros or 2010 Football World Cup. Since when I started watching football, but I started watching on my own. It's not like someone influenced me to watch it or something like that. So it took me more than 2 years to understand what is offside rule. It was like that. No one was there to help me to understand this rule. So 2011-12 was the first season that I started watching football, and at that time we only had one channel of ESPN. So whichever match used to come on, I used to watch them. So the first Man City game I remember is the final Tottenham game in which Edin Dzeko scored a goal. So Edin Dzeko scored a hat-trick. Of course, I did not become a fan after that game. Of course, I followed this season. But after that Aguero goal, that goal made me more of a football fan, not just City fan. It made me because that goal, it tells about what football actually is. It creates such a great drama. What happened in that game was you cannot describe it. So since then, I started becoming more of a football fan, and then started following Man City. And since then, I'm following Man City every season, and I haven't missed Man City game for like last 5-6 years. I watch every game, even if it is a late night. I watch every game. Coming back to Man City Mumbai Supporters Club, well, I'm not one of the founders. I'm a member of Man City Mumbai, but I still know the story of how they created it. So two guys, Shreyas and Janil, they were in I guess a Facebook group of Man City India, and Janil, in his college, one of his friends, he was a Tottenham fan. Ironically, it was not even a legendary, like a big club fan. It was Tottenham fan who invited him to, come for a screening, and he was kind of surprised that there is a Tottenham fan in India. Of course, it's kind of ironic from a City fan to say that there is a Tottenham fan in India, but still at that time he was like, there is a Tottenham fan and he's inviting me to, watch the screening of the game. So General called 4 or 5 of his friends and they just went for the experience, and it was kind of a very good experience for them. So since then, this idea came that we guys are like, we are 4 or 5 people, we'll go to 10, 20 and we'll start create this supporters club. And since then, it's going on. It's really doing well. We are now, I don't actually know the correct number, but still we are growing a lot in these recent years. We are active on social media, we're active on Instagram, we do the match previews on YouTube. So yeah, it is going really well.
Tanmay, has anyone ever asked you before, were you a Chelsea fan before moving to a City fan?
No. People tend to, not just Chelsea fan. People treat me as I'm a United fan. I'm a Arsenal fan and all that. But I, give them a correct facts, correct answers. So they are like, okay, you know about City enough so that we are not going to, doubt about you.
Yeah, and what about you, Ritesh? How did you start supporting Chelsea? Do you remember when you started watching them and any particular moment where you realized that, I want to support Chelsea?
I think I started watching Chelsea in 2006. I used to play football earlier, but I was not really big into the clubs. I never used to watch matches. So 2006, one of my friend, he introduced me to Premier League, and he was a Chelsea fan. So I was kind of influenced by him to start watching the Chelsea matches. So I slowly and gradually started watching it. Initial years, it was a little on and off, on and off. I think in 2010 or 2011 is somewhere when I actually, got too deep with Chelsea FC. I started watching it more, and fortunately for us, within next 2 years in 2012, we were the champions of Champions League. So ever since then, if it's possible from my end not to miss a match, I will not miss a match. So everyone in my family, in my friends, everyone knows if there is a Chelsea match going on, regardless of if there is an bomb that is going on outside the house, nobody is supposed to disturb him. So it's that kind of a love that I have for the club. And if I talk about the supporters club, Chelsea India Supporters Club, I'm again not a member of the supporters club, although I am an administrator working with them. So I think it was founded again in 2006. Four of them had gathered in Mumbai, and they started like meeting up, and slowly and gradually we started building in different cities. So I think at this moment we are almost in 32 cities, and we have a good amount of fan base. We also do various activities. So we were one of the first clubs, like supporters club in India, Chelsea India Supporters Club, wherein we started an event called Blue Arena, wherein all the Chelsea fans across India gather at one place. We do various events. We play futsal, football. We do quiz competitions. We do live hosting. We also have a lot of celebrities who had come to those events. Apart from that, we also have FIFA gaming on PlayStation. So we do a lot of different activities when it comes to Chelsea fans. So unfortunately, because of COVID, we could not do it, or else we would have reached, I guess, the sixth edition of the Blue Arena. So hopefully things are back, and we can start again, getting together, watching live screenings, and doing various kinds of events. So this is more or less the story with me and Chelsea and Chelsea India Supporters Club.
And now let's get to the game a little. Obviously, both teams, Chelsea and Manchester City, have taken a very different journey this season, but they've both got to the Champions League final. Chelsea, of course, had a change in managers, and City have a very settled manager. And Chelsea is a much younger team with lesser experience as compared to Manchester City. So I'll come to you, Ritesh, first. Firstly, the manager change. Were you happy when the sack happened, or were you upset because he's such a legend of the club? Do you think it tarnished his legacy, and how do you think Tuchel has improved the club?
I think if you are a true Chelsea fan, the sacking of Frank Lampard will upset a lot of people. So, but of course, even I was one of those people who was upset because Frank Lampard last season he had done a pretty amazing job with the kind of team that we have. Like you mentioned, a lot inexperienced, a lot younger people. We played a lot of academy players. So he did a very good job last season. But to be honest, this season it was not working out for him for whatever the reasons may be. So I was upset when Lampard was, taken off and Tuchel had come in. But I think Tuchel has done a pretty good job till now. So if you look at his stats, right, considering the fact that he has come mid-season, and at that point in time, Chelsea were ninth in the Premier League. From there to the journey of a top four, he has done some pretty good, amazing job. He has given chance to a lot of players who were not given chance during the Lampard era. So
Yeah.
we have players like Marcus Alonso. We have players like Antonio Rodriguez. We have, if I talk about other players, I guess Tammy is someone who's fallen through the cracks at this particular moment, but he's managed the team pretty well. I mean, the fact that we are in the Champions League final, we are in the top four of the Premier League, and we were the FA Cup finalist. It proves a lot. It shows a lot, like what kind of influence that does he has, and it's pretty obvious. It's a positive one till now.
Yeah, and Tanmay, what do you think about the managerial change for Chelsea as an outsider or someone who doesn't support Chelsea? Do you feel like they were underachieving under Lampard's managerial prowess?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even at the season start, I was not convinced like they're going to finish top four because Lampard is obviously not a great manager. He's a good manager, he's a club legend, but when you talk about manager, he don't have an experience. Just 1 year at Derby, and you are taking the one of the biggest job in the footballing career with the spending that he had. He spent around 200 million this season, though the pressure already came on him. So I was not convinced that he's going to achieve all those things. But yeah, they were definitely underachieving because the players that they have, you expect, you expect Pulisic, you expect Howard, you expect Timo Werner, because Timo Werner was in my FPL team from the day one because I like that player, I expected him to score a lot of goals. So you expect them to, fire up. Of course, it was gonna take time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but the way they were playing, and you can go to the game that we played at the Stamford Bridge against City, the game that we won 3-1. We were tactically outclassed them because the space that Gundogan was getting, the space that Kevin De Bruyne was getting, it was that result almost on the hands of Lampard because he was tactically naive in that game. So I think it was kind of a right decision for the board. But yeah, it's kind of harsh to lose the club legend in that matter. So I can understand what Ritesh is saying.
Yeah, and now coming to your club, Pep Guardiola, he's a legend. People say he's the greatest manager of all time. That's a debate for another day. But Premier League champions again, I'm sure you must be happy. But do you think y'all can break the European jinx this year?
Well, to be honest with you, for me, getting into the semi-final was the best thing this season, because we were, every year we were getting out of quarterfinals. Like we were getting out of quarterfinals for fun, every season we were losing. So when that Foden scored a goal against Dortmund, I was like, finally, we are in the semi-finals, and this will do for me for this season at least. Next season we can think of winning Champions League. This season will do. And even when Marquinhos scored the first goal, I was like, okay, man, let's enjoy this game. We are going to lose this game. But the way we turned that game from that, it was, I don't understand what happened. I don't know what they drank in the halftime team talk, what they said to each other, and the way we changed the game, the way we played, it was quite amazing. And now we are in the Champions League final. I still don't believe that we are Champions League final. When we're gonna get there, then I'll have to believe that. But still, man, if we get that win, it's take a lot of pressure from everyone. So the next year when we are going to Champions League, we're gonna go with that confidence. So I hope we win. I hope we play good. So let's see, man. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone knows Aguero's got this famous quote where he said, I won't leave Man City unless I win the Champions League. He's got one game because he's obviously leaving. The team's announced he's probably joining Barcelona. The contract's agreed. Do you think he'll keep his word and he'll win the Champions League?
I hope so, but the ironic factor is that even if we win the Champions League, his contribution is kind of very less in this Champions League win. We're going to say that. But when you look at the stint of his 10 years at Man City, he of course deserves one Champions League. So in that matter, he of course deserves the one. But when you're talking about this game, I don't think he's going to start. I hope he comes off the bench. And I hope he comes off the bench when we are winning comfortably. Not like we are under pressure. I hope that. So it happens, and I hope he goes on the pitch. I hope he scores. But let's see. And I hope he keeps his word. I hope that would be the perfect send-off for any player. This is going to be a very great end to the story.
Yeah, and now moving to Chelsea, Ritesh. Thomas Tuchel had said that there are 3 finals that Chelsea have to play this year. One was the top 4 game against Aston Villa. One was the FA Cup final. And one was the Champions League final. You lost to Aston Villa. You somehow made top 4. You lost in the FA Cup. What are your expectations for the final of the Champions League? Your record is not great.
It kind of said itself, right? We're saving the best for the last. Okay, so when you say, tell me that, we kind of made top 4. Okay, we lost to Aston Villa, and I will not deny that was not a great performance by Chelsea. But the Premier League, the standing of top 4, the top 6 and the top 10, it's all about the entire season. And like I mentioned earlier, we were on the 9th spot when Lampard left and Tuchel had come in. Okay, now we lost some matches which I don't think we should have lost, or I think we should not even have been thought of losing that. Like losing to West Brom 5-3 or 5-2, if I'm not wrong, and then losing to Aston Villa. Those were, I would rather say, some bad decisions by the manager to not play certain players. But looking at the game ahead, I understand that. But it is not a luck, or it's not it's not kind of something magical that had happened and we came to the top 4. We were already there in the top 4, and someone had to win. Okay, so let's put it across the way it was. We were already there in the top 4. It was not that we moved later on. We were already there in the top 4. Someone else had to win so that they can take our spot. They could not do it. Right? It's an entire season that we've gone through. So top 4 is taking care of that one. Leicester played a very good game. I mean, I will not deny. I'm a Chelsea fan, but again, Leicester played a very good game when it came to the FA Cup final. I was expecting more out of Chelsea, but then we took our revenge with Leicester City by. Of course, we had help with the Spurs. We took our revenge, but because the very next match, we made sure that they do not get those 3 important points to qualify for Champions League, which we took it for ourselves. And if you look at it right now, we are there. When I talk about Champions League final, I think we're saving the best for the last, because regardless of the fact how the entire season was, regardless of the fact that it's an inexperienced team, or there are some experienced players, of course, all the ups and downs come. It will again come back to the final 90 minutes of this entire season. So as long as we manage to enjoy the 90 minutes, we manage to play a good game in those 90 minutes, forgetting about Aston Villa, forgetting about the FA Cup final. I think it's anyone who does that, any team who does that will win the match. And just to give you a small example, the match last night with Villarreal versus Manchester United, if you look at the odds, everyone was rooting for Manchester United. Okay. But for those 90 minutes, they had a lot of chances. Okay, I am not a Man U fan, Manchester United fan. I generally avoid places where I see Man U jerseys. But yesterday I watched the match because it was a Europa League final. So I watched the match and it was pretty good. Manchester United actually played very well, but they missed out on capitalizing the chances that they created. And Villarreal, if you look at Villarreal's goal, the one goal that they scored, it was pretty brilliant. I mean, the ball just went off through Lindelof. Pogba was nowhere to be seen, although he was supposed to mark. I guess his name was Gerrard. Yeah, Gerrard. But he just went off, and it was a smooth finishing. Manu had a lot of chances, but they did not create. So, despite the fact how the season went, that they are finishing the second in Premier League, the players are very valued. They are the costliest player. It's a very good team. Blah 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 blah. Towards the end, it's the 90 minutes that matter. So I think the Champions League 90 minutes is something which we will bang on. So,
but interestingly, you mentioned that United couldn't take their chances, and that's something Chelsea have struggled with throughout this season. The fact that the players getting offside can't make their runs. I think you know who I'm referring to. But yeah, coming to Chelsea, much younger team in terms of experience compared to Man City. There are two ways it can go, right? You can either say in a final, if they lose, pundits will say, oh, they were a very young team, this experience will help them in the future. Or sometimes when they win, people tend to say, because they were young, they just went out and expressed themselves. Which way do you think it'll go with Chelsea? And do you think you'll be able to take your chances come the final? Because City's defense has been on top form this season.
Okay, agreed. But I'll answer the last question that you asked, and I'll let us move out from there. I think we were pretty much we had done a good job in breaking that defense in the last two meetings that we had.
Yeah.
So it's regardless to say that it has already been proven that it can be broken. So that's again a possibility. And apart from that, if you talk about the chances that are created with Chelsea, no doubt about it, we have created too many chances. We are missing that one finisher that we are looking for. Having said that, the one player that you were referring to and you were hesitant to take the name of,
I want you to
Timo
take his
Werner.
name.
And I'll take his name. I love him. I have no problems. See, he does not score goals, okay? But if you look at his work rate, it is pretty amazing. The chances that he has created or he has led to, it's pretty much nice. And most importantly, he takes away the defenders with him, so the others can work out. Yes, I agree. There are a lot of missed chances that we had over the courses, but he is coming from a different league. I mean, I'm not going to use it as an excuse, so let's not go there. He has performed average, I would say. As expected, he has not performed in those ways. But when it mattered, we have actually scored. If that wouldn't been the case, we wouldn't have reached the top four. Even if Tottenham would have helped, and if we wouldn't have scored those important goals, we wouldn't have reached. So I think this game, everyone understands how important it is, especially the coach, the players, and a lot of players in this team have not won any major cups because they are inexperienced, because they are young, because they have played. I mean, we have Silva who was last season he played with PSG. They were the Champions League finalists and he could not win. So we have a lot of motivation inside the team to get that cup. So I think that is something which is going to work for us. The motivation of the hunger to get it.
Yeah, interesting. I'll come back to the start of your point where you mentioned that you all have beaten City twice this year. Tanmay, my question to you is, do you think that will play a big part come the final? Because surely it will be on the back of the players' minds that they've lost to Chelsea twice this year and they have a point to prove.
No, I don't think so, because majority of our players were not in those games, especially the second game. The first game, Ruben Dias was in that game, Cancelo was in that game, so I can get that. The FA Cup game, I'm kind of more disappointed with the FA Cup game because of our performance. The way we played that game, there was no intent, there was no passion to win that game. So of course, you can lose the game. It is a football. If win happens, defeats happens. So fair play to Chelsea, they deserve to win that game. But the way we approached that game was quite rubbish. The way Sterling was jogging over the pitch, Gabriel Jesus, as usual, missing chances. Rodri was not having a great game on that day. So FA Cup game, the game we played against in the Premier League, I guess 6-7 or majority of the players were not playing that game. Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Foden did not play that game. So I don't think it will have an impact on this game, on the final game. But I think those two defeats kind of help us, because in the Premier League, Pep Guardiola played 3-man back. He never plays that. But just to counter Chelsea's tactics, I guess he tried something new, and he might have got something because we know Pep Guardiola is one of the the details that he takes, the way he looks football is kind of different. So I hope he might have learned something from that game because Chelsea did not play the full strength team, but they still started their main players who were gonna play the game. So I think that defeat might help us in the game. I hope so.
Okay, so now coming to my final question, and this is the controversial one. Both of you have to go. Ritesh, I'll start with you. Scoreline and match prediction.
It's no controversy, right? Chelsea is going to win, so there is no controversy about it. The rest all are speculations. So I think being a Champions League final, we can expect quite a few goals and a lot of chances. Uh, as expected, I'm rooting Chelsea to win. I'm going with the score line of 2-1.
Who will
Okay,
be your
and
scorers?
my scorers would be the one who's deserving to score in a Champions League final. The first one would be Mason Mount. Okay, he has been in excellent form despite the fact that we had a lot of big signings with us, and he has made sure that if it is Lampard or even if it is Thomas Tuchel, he is there in the team. He's one of the main players, so he's one of the players that I'm rooting for. Apart from that, I'm actually hoping that instead of Timo Werner, Kai Havertz starts because he's a better finisher than Timo Werner and possesses quite similar pace. So I'm hoping that it's Mason Mount and Kai Havertz who score 2 goals for us. And when it comes to Manchester City, the one player who will score the goal, I mean, it does not matter. They're losing any which way, so fine. So just joking. I think Kevin De Bruyne, because he's had a good record against Chelsea, so he has more chances to score. So I will go with Kevin De Bruyne.
Tanmay, what about you? Scoreline?
I'm sorry to break this vibe, but I'm not going to predict because this is a big game for me because this is the first time I'm watching Champions League final. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to say that both teams going to score because it's a big game. I'm pretty sure that Foden and Kevin De Bruyne is going to have a very good game. They're not going to have a like the way yesterday Bruno and Pogba played. Where you expect them to perform, they did not
Oh, I'm
perform.
going to keep this part of the clip. I'm going to keep this part of the
No,
clip.
I'm yeah, sure you can. I'm sure. Even if we lose, I can say that Kevin De Bruyne and Foden they have a very good game tomorrow because they know on the big stage they perform really well. All I was just one thing I want from this game is that please this game should not go into penalties. Yesterday, man, the situation, man. Even I was tense in that game. I was not even a fan of both teams. And
I agree with Tanmay on this point because I hate penalties. Okay,
man,
my heart just starts pounding when I see penalties.
I can't imagine 8th or 9th City player stepping up for the penalty. It will literally damage my health. So I hope the game does not go to penalties.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow night. Well, yeah, tomorrow night what happens with the final. So fingers crossed. We'll keep our hands tight, and I'll definitely keep both parts of your clips and see which one comes out on top, and then I'll post the other one on the Terrible Football Takes Twitter account.
Sure, no issues.
Thank you guys for joining me.
No problem.